I was listening to Ram Dass's podcast, and it was interesting. He was talking about this particular story that he went to his guru, and his guru told him, "And then I want you to love everyone." And then the next day, he came back and said, "And be truthful about, be truthful." So Ramdas kept thinking about, well, if I wanted to be truthful, do I love everyone or not? And then he came to this concept of, well, I don't. And he says, well, I'm just going to be truthful. So I will look at all these people that I don't love. And he went through counting all the people he didn't love. And he didn't even like himself for doing it. So he stopped loving himself for not loving everybody else. So about a week later, he comes to his guru again, and the guru says, well, how did you do on the assignment? And Ramdas says, well, I did look at the two instructions, and they were kind of opposing for me, because you said love everyone and then you said be truthful, and I the truth is I don't love everyone, and I don't even like myself. And the guru said, well, do you love me? And he said, yes. And says, what are the components that you have about loving me? And then he shared, and then he says, well, then love everyone and be truthful at the time that you say that I love everyone. So I listened to that story, and I started thinking about what is it that when I say I love everyone, and what are the times that I don't, and what's the difference for me? And it's interesting that I came to an understanding that when I say I don't love so and so, it has to do where they did not come through with some sort of an expectation that I had from them, or that I thought that they didn't love me or they didn't like me, and I felt some judgment from them. So I kind of like, took in the judgment and gave it right back in my head of judging them for judging me. Ha! So it was interesting to look into this and see, when is it that any of us would say, I don't love someone, either that they're doing a behavior that we don't like, they show by their behavior a characteristics, or something that it's not suitable for us, something that we expected from them and it didn't work out for us. So, um, oh, and we think they don't like us. And it's interesting that I've talked to a lot of people where, even when they've had judgment about other people, when they thought that the other person loved them, um, they were a little bit more lenient in their judgment. So it seems like we really, really, really like to be acknowledged, loved, liked. And when we think that we are not, then we turn around and kind of like mirror what we experience in our projection. And it's not like they don't, it's definitely our projection. And I don't know, maybe they don't, but they still have the right to their opinion. I could still choose to love them, even though they don't like me or love me back. So then the component of, all right, well, then how can I, if I would go to the same story of the guru, love everyone and mean it and be truthful about it? And if I chose that, then what would it be? How would it be? How can I do that? And I've been pondering about this for the past week, and I just wanted to share it with you because I've had a lot of these questions from you guys, which is, well, how can I be loving during the day when there's so many things that are happening that just doesn't sit well with me? So pondering on all of those, I came up with, well, maybe the love we're talking about is more of an acceptance of people the way they are, accept of myself the way that I am, and just sending them that type of love. That it's okay that even if I think that they don't, I mean, obviously everyone has to protect themselves if they think they're being harmed by any way. A lot of people under the name of love might harm you. They're not thinking they're harming you. They're just probably, for whatever reason, think maybe that is love. They might control you, or you might control them. But if you took on that concept of, may I love everyone and be truthful, would be if I can accept people the way they are, however they are, regardless of their shape, race, color, orientation, whatever it is, whether they do it my way or they don't, whether they like the same things I do or not. I think it's more of that concept of, can I be a loving human being? And then the question becomes, why should I be a loving human being? Because it feels better to you? Because when you're constantly walking around in a nagging concept, a nagging way of being in your head, that you're the one who's being miserable. This past weekend, I met two people where they had everything that they could ever ask for, or that their life was very meaningful in all the ways. But their brain is caught into negativity of not really appreciating themselves or all of that that was being created for them. And it's more like, well, you're the one who's miserable when you're not being loving to yourself and everybody else. So the answer to the question of why should I be loving is, feels good. It's amazing. It's what you deserve. And every cell of your body can shine and get warm with that love. Um, then the question is, why should I give it to others? Because it's sweet to be interacting with other human being with that type of an interaction versus expectations and judgments and constantly blaming others or yourself about it. So yes, there is a feel good concept about it, but beside the feel good, I think you get much more results with being loving that you would be with being nasty or even indifferent. So, however you look at it, I think it's probably beneficial to be loving and be truthful and meaning it. So, I hope this helps.